Hello everyone and welcome back. I've left you guys for a few days. I haven't really told you what I've been doing, but that's just because I've been grinding really hard. So I kind of want to show you where I'm at, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I got there. So just before I tell you a bit about how I got there, I need to flex on you a little bit. So sorry about this, but boom, got 3.3 milli, and I got really good gear. I'm level 80, almost 81 right here. I'm at 98%, and I want to show you my gear. So real quick, I got that carrot cap, matte tofu cloak, all this stuff, overmage vitality. Most of this stuff I mage myself. And I also have that yellow P-Win level 100, got some nice trophies, and I have an APXO charcoal shield here. And this is a rich person's shield too, because look at that condition. You have to have over 100,000 commas. So let me just show you the professions I have. I mage most of this stuff myself because I just leveled my Maguses. And I kind of want to tell you guys how I've been progressing through the days, what I've been doing, and hopefully it can give you some ideas about how you can do something similar. So after I left off last time, first thing I did is I went and did some drops with my friends, XP and drops. We went back to that ghoul area, the one down to the right of Brakmar, because over there's those level 200 mobs, and they only hit from close combat, like up to 3 range. So they're very easy to keep back, and they have really high level drops. So whatever I would drop in terms of gear, because it's pretty easy to drop, especially if you're in a team and you're doing challenges, whatever I would drop, I would go and crush. So drop, crush, stacked up some runes, and then I went and hit the Jelly Dungeon. Jelly Dungeon was really good. You drop some nice jellies along the way, a little bit of gear. That gear's not worth too much, but because it's low level gear, but you still get some sort of stuff, and you get some jellies as well. And most interestingly is when you get to the boss fight, you have the chance of dropping a Gelano. It's not a very high chance. I think it's like 0.1 or like 1% or something like that. But we got to the boss fight. We did some jellies, and even if you don't drop a Gelano, the royal jellies themselves drop a royal jelly, and that royal jelly at the time I was doing it was worth like 25,000 commas or so. And it's important because it's like used in some sort of craft. I think it's used in like a Gelano craft. So royal blue jelly, I guess. Uh, I just want to check the drops right there. So yeah, you can see here Gelano is like 0.1%. I didn't get to drop it, but someone on my team did. Lucky them. And then there's these resources here that are now worth like 12,000, but at the time were worth like 25,000. Sold those. Decided to keep going on this like drop selling like XP kind of grind, and switched from jelly, and I went and did a carrot cap hunt. So carrot caps are dropped on. Most of you probably know this if you're playing seriously, but golden Drago turkeys, wild golden Drago turkeys, they drop a carrot cap, which is the 1 AP hat level 60, and it's very popular. At the time, it was worth like 110,000 commas, so I dropped it, and then I used the Magus that I had leveled to mage it, and I ended up selling it, and it sold for pretty good. So I bought another one, maged it, and sold it again. They sold pretty well at like 120,000 commas. Not anything crazy because AP runes aren't even that expensive, so they're not that they're not worth that much to mage. Next, I went and do you remember last time when I was telling you about the field dungeon technique, where like if you grind field dungeon, or well at the time field dungeon, now it wouldn't work for me, but like if you grind any dungeon where every room the mobs have a higher level than you, like at the time I was level 60, right? So if you go to field dungeon, every room the mobs have a higher level than you up to level 64, because the first room they're all level 16, so 16 times 4 is 64. And so if you go through every room in field dungeon and you do the challenges, then you'll start raking up these achievements here, where you'll start raking up the challenges against groups of monsters of a higher level or equal to your own. You'll get this, but you'll also be doing it through a dungeon, so you'll get these. So you get double the dungeon challenges, double the achievements, and then double the temp porous tokens. You'll see I'm at 450, which is pretty good. Not leaderboard worthy, but anyways, I kept grinding it up until 500 dungeon challenges. It was a hassle, but I ended up getting it, and you just put your head down and you do it. You like listen to a podcast or whatever, and you just keep going through it until you're done, because I think it's worth it to do it, especially for low level. Like now I'm at level 80, I would have to do like Gobble Dungeon, which is a little bit harder to grind, but still definitely doable. But if I wait till I'm like level 150 and now I have to grind to find a dungeon with where the group of monsters are equal to, oh, we were just speaking about this achievement, to find a dungeon where the group monsters are at least equal to or greater than my level, I'd have to go and hit like some complicated dungeons, right? Like Moon Dungeon or something like that, and there the monsters start taking longer, so it just becomes a bit harder the more you wait. After I did that, I did a little bit more maging for profit. I maged like an Aquarela hat that I sold and just a couple things here on the side. And I upgraded a little bit of my maging professions because I had a bunch of runes from all the crushing that I had done previously from those dropping items, which was pretty interesting. I went next and did some frigos, dropping stuff like a little bit more XP as well. I ended up dropping the teleportation spell, which ended up selling for 200,000 commas. I had no idea. I just dropped it and I didn't even react or anything. I just dropped it. I was like, oh, another spell, you know, you see a bunch of those go by. But then I go to the market and I'm like, oh shit, I just dropped a 200,000 comma spell and it ends up selling. So I was really happy with that. And after I dropped that, here's basically the meat of the video. This is like the thing that really accelerated me. So I open up the world map and I'm kind of looking around and I'm like, you know, where should I farm? Because my goal was, I know that I want to end up getting a lot of temp tokens, right? As I'm sure many of us do. But a lot of us are rushing quests right now and like at lower level and like dungeons, that sort of thing. But my approach is a little bit different. I wanted to really set myself off like in a really good spot before I start doing that stuff. So now I'm level 80, really good gear, good commas. Now I'm going to go back and start doing those like really basic quests. That way I feel like I can go through them a lot faster. If I need a dungeon, I don't need to ask for help, right? So anything I need, I can just do by myself now that I'm pretty well off. Whereas if I had started it when I'm level 20, like every quest fight I have to be like, oh, can you help? Then I have to waste time, that sort of thing. So I focus on that, and then now I'm going to go back. So what is it that I did to help me come to this stage? This is the biggest part where I made most of my commas. So I was looking at the map and I'm like, so what is a high level area where there are monsters that I can kill that other people wouldn't think that you can kill? Like that was sort of my thought process. So I'm like kind of looking, right? It's a very big map, and I decide, you know, down we were doing earlier the those like zombie creatures here, and I remembered that the fungus domain here actually has mobs that I don't think people would want to fight because they seem to have long range, that sort of thing. But there's a little trick to it, and I'll tell you guys. And it really helped me accelerate in terms of XP and commas. I'll explain. So I go and I come to this zone, and I open up the website d'offensive.com or d'offensive in French.com, and I'll leave that website in the description. I've mentioned it before on my channel. Basically, it's a website where you can find all the capabilities of any monster in the game. So any monster in the game, you go into the website, you type its name, it will pull up the monster, and you can go through and see all of its attack spells, all the range, whether it requires line of sight, whether it's like only in a straight line, if the monster can boost its MP, all this stuff. You can see how many MP it has, all that stuff. You go to the website, you can check it out. So I'm filtering through zones. Like some zones I look at and I'm like, well, you know, I go on the website and they have too many like range spells, that sort of thing that I can't deal with. But I come here and I go to the website and I look them up and I see they have a lot of range spells. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to look for the next zone. But then I realize, oh, they need a line of sight. So I think about it for a second. And I'm like, oh shit, like most people would probably be like, oh, they have range spells, so I can't bother with this zone. So I'm going to take advantage of that. And I know that they need a line of sight. So instead, I'm going to stay on this zone, but I'm going to exploit the fact that they can't have a line of sight. Right now on the screen, I'll be showing you kind of how I do one of my fights. Basically, it's very easy. I'll take one hit because they start, and then I'll quickly run and just hide line of sight, either by using the bomb that I can summon, or if you guys are playing, you can just use the block spell or anything you can put in front of you. They can only hit in line of sight in the zone. So I go there and I start dropping stuff, and I drop amulets, and I just drop a bunch of things, and I take those things and I go to crush them, and I get 4,000% coefficient, 4,000%. So I get so many runes, and I end up getting 400 something AP runes, and this is where I made my commas. I put those 400 AP runes into the mage, and I put shields, and I just start going. So 400 AP runes, just going to see how many AP shields I can get. You know, 400 AP runes, technically they say like it's 1% chance. So in theory, I should get like around 4. I end up getting 9. I get 9 shields with 400 AP runes, which is very lucky. Pretty lucky, honestly. Like I think at one point I get 2 AP exos like 7 runes apart. So I get those runes, I get those shields, I put them in market, for like 230,000 commas each, and I just keep selling them. And they sell really fast too. So I go and I keep farming the area, and I collect a bunch of more drops. All this I'm showing you guys. You guys should be seeing it on the screen right now, in terms of like screenshots and coefficients and all this stuff. I didn't farm the zone to death though. So whoever sees this video, there's still like 2,000 plus coefficients there on the amulets, that sort of thing. Like, if you can still definitely go try. And I'm on Temporis X. If you're on any other Temporis, you can still probably do it, because I don't think people would think to farm that zone. And also it was pretty good XP too, not just in terms of drops, but in terms of XP as well. I tried some other areas. I tried to go to those boars that are in the Kanya area, those ones up here somewhere. Let me pull that up. They are up here. Those boars, they're somewhere here. I think they're here. I think this is the area, this one here. The Kanya Plains, Kanya Moors. It's a level 140 zone, and they dropped some nice gear, but it turns out that these mobs were farmed, so the coefficients weren't crazy. I did drop a guild allo gem, which I used to create my guild, which is the Rogue Life Guild. Anyone is welcome if you guys just message me if you want to join. I don't really do anything in the guild, but if you guys want to be able to talk to me, that sort of thing, you can always. Although you can also message me. It doesn't really matter, but if you guys want to join, you're free to join. So I try that, and I just look around some zones, but the most profit I made was on that zone. So I realized that making AP shields was very good profit, but I had a lot of AP runes, so I made my own shield, which is the one that you guys saw. That's like the AP 3% range damage. I'm trying to optimize myself. And then I keep just making more AP shields and selling them, making more AP shields and selling them. And then I decided to do a little bit of dungeons. So my friend Benjamite, who is also a YouTuber, and he streams usually in at least my nighttime, he'll stream. So if you guys want to follow him, you can always do that. He and I went and did the Automai Core Ladder dungeon. We did some dungeons. It was very fun. We kind of flew through the dungeons. They were very easy because my gear is really, really well done, and he's getting really good with Eliotrope too, so he definitely helped out. It was very fun for us to do that together. After that, I went and did some more dropping. This time I went to drop the Shaker trophy, the 1 AP 50 Vitality trophy. So you drop those on the dragons, or the Dragos. I don't know what they're called. The ones here, those like Dragoses or whatever. So anyways, they drop the, damn, I'm trying to pull this up for you. So, oh, there it is. So you can see here, they dropped the AP and MP trophy. I ended up being the only one in my group who dropped one, so I got really lucky, and I sold it for 250,000 commas. And I just made more flying shields, sold more of those. I'm having it's so much fun with Temporis. Now that my stuff is ready, I'm going to start rushing these quests, start rushing these dungeons. I'm really going to be stacking up. Oh, this guy. No, we already saw this achievement, right? Why do I keep congratulating this guy? The onion guy. So now that my stuff is ready, I'm gonna keep rushing these dungeons, start rushing these quests, and I'm ready to go. I hope to see you guys in game. You can message me if you want to join my guild. It's free. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you want to. Have a good day. I will see you soon.